Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I want to give you a quick review of this Kaoko Throttle Stabilizer that happens to be sitting on my 2022 Kawasaki Z900RS. Why you call it a throttle stabilizer and not a throttle lock is probably something to do with liability perhaps, but it does the same thing. Sets the throttle at a, or holds the throttle at a set speed or a set amount of throttle being given to allow you to maintain a set speed. So while you can't call it cruise control, it's basically cruise control. I bought this from Revzilla. You can find this on Amazon as well. It's not cheap for what you get. It was $145, $150 somewhere in there. And the installation is a little bit questionable, but we'll talk about that here in the video. So you can see that it sits on the end of the throttle side of the bars, obviously. And the bar end weight that you see is actually part of the throttle stabilizer kit. You can see the stock Kawasaki one over here on the clutch side. And it's one of the reasons why I went with this particular setup was because it looks very natural. It's very low profile. The Z900 or Z900, depending where you're from, has a certain look to it, and this throttle stabilizer goes well with it. To give you a quick demo of how that would work, basically you have your throttle, you turn the stabilizer, it has you see some raised kind of cogs, and that allows you to set your throttle. You can still turn it, which is probably a safety feature. It sets it, but it doesn't hold it or lock it in tight, because not having a quick, easy cancel button like you would on an Atlas throttle lock or others makes this maybe a slightly more sketchy setup, but it does work. It's very effective. It does hold, like most throttle locks and throttle stabilizers you get. It does work on friction, so you can see if I turn this, you can hear that throttle click back. And then I have free play, normal play in that throttle until I would turn it. So it is low profile, but it's also not the only thing on the market. If you've listened to Adventure Rider Radio, or you've done any looking for a manual throttle lock, cruise control, throttle stabilizer, whatever you want to call it, you would have probably seen the Atlas product, which is around the same price, maybe $10 or $20 more. And that sits and gives you actually an engage and a disengage button. Would sit on this side of the throttle and uses spacers to, again, impede that throttle closing by friction. In the case of the Z900RS, it didn't fit. I actually bought one, nice $160 down the drain. Actually bought one, tried to install it, was supposed to work. I don't think it has anything to do with the heated grips, because there's not that much that changed with the installation of the heated grips, but it does not fit, and there's not a way to move the perch really to get it to fit. So I started looking for other options and came up with this Kaoko throttle lock. All right, so let's talk about installation. So as I said, it does replace the bar end weight. So there is a long 2.5 inch, 3 inch bolt that goes into your bar end that affixes the stock weight. You pull that off, and then you put on the replacement bar end weight with the stabilizer piece, this, like I said, this cog, the gear looking thing. You'll notice that that castle nut, that set screw there, that is important. And there's also a friction washer that sits between the gear, or between the throttle itself and the stabilizer. When you're looking at these online or on Revzilla, you're going to see there's a type A and a type B. This is the type A, and I bought this semi-blind. I say that because the Z900RS is not actually on the list of supported models on Revzilla for this bike, but others that were similar in configuration were, so I made an educated guess. Part of the fun of buying crap for our bikes, I guess. And eventually I got it figured out. I will say there is an order of operations. I ended up using the factory screw or factory bolt that goes in the end of this weight from the actual factory bar end weight. instead of the one that came with it, because the one that came with it was too short and actually caused the throttle to bind. Luckily, I tested it extensively before going out and field testing it, because that could have led to some interesting experiences. They do give you 2 friction washers, one that's slightly larger than the other. You don't need both, unless you do. The installation instructions for this thing are not very good, and if you start looking on forums, you'll find that having issues is kind of the letter of the law with these. So, it is expensive at $145, $150. The installation's not great. Instructions, I should say, are not great, but it does what it's supposed to. Would I buy it again? Hindsight being 2020, yeah, I probably still would. It gives me what I want, which is the ability to be going down a straight road with my throttle set and being able to stretch my throttle hand. I feel like it looks better on here than, say, a cramp buster or other accoutrements to accomplish the same thing. And it seems to be high quality. Once I've got it on correctly, I've not had any issues with it. So I hope this has been helpful. It is a vehicle-specific kit, so make sure if you are looking at one of these, you buy the one for your bike or for a similar bike to yours of the same manufacturer in general. And be prepared to try again, because there are differences and there are orders of operations. So that's the Kaoko Throttle Stabilizer. I'll put the link to what I bought in case you have a Z900RS and want to do the same thing. But if you like this video, if you appreciate the review, give me a like. It really does help out. And if you want to see what's coming next, go ahead and subscribe. I promise we're not going to spam you. I don't like to put useless crap up here. I'm not going to show you my feet. Well, unless you pay extra. I'm kidding. But we will keep making content and keep trying to earn your YouTube time. So thanks so much for watching. Ride safe. I'll see you next time.